Hello guys, my name is Justo Robles, but I'm also known in this class as Amaury Robles. Today, I will be talking about the Engineering Code of Ethics, section 3.8. Let's get started. Before we talk about the Code of Ethics, first we need to talk about the NSPE, also known as the National Society of Professional Engineers. They are this organization that basically sets the regulations and standards for American engineers. The NSPE vision is for a world where the public can be confident that all the engineering decisions in their life are made by qualified and ethically responsible professionals. Now, what does this mean? This means that basically all decisions are made by people who know what they're doing and actually care about the world and not just their own interests. And their mission is to foster licensed professional engineers in service to society, meaning they want to be the body that says, my engineers are good and they're going to help you. Some would say that the NSP is like somebody's parents because they want to make sure their son or daughter, aka the engineers, are putting their best foot forward and becoming law-abiding citizens. Now, for that, they created the Engineering Code of Ethics. Now, you may ask, what is the Engineering Code of Ethics? Well, the Engineering Code of Ethics is this document that the NSP created many years ago, where they talk about anything and anything an engineer should be able to do and shouldn't be able to do. Now, in this document, they have the fundamental rules of engineering, the engineering rules of practice, and engineering obligations. As previously stated, the Code of Ethics is the rules that you have to live by if you want to call yourself a professional engineer. This could be compared to the rules that you have to follow inside your house whenever you're living with your parents. As long as you're living with them, you have to follow those. Same. As long as you want to call yourself a professional engineer, you have to follow this Code of Ethics. Now, let's take a look at Section 3, Professional Obligations. And more importantly, to Part 8. They have this large text that basically boils down to an engineer has to be responsible for their actions. What a crazy concept, right? Now, this text also says that engineers may seek indemnification, meaning more money, if they're working on something a little bit out of their area of expertise, but those same engineers will not be protected if they do something that falls under the category of gross negligence, meaning they did something they knew they shouldn't have done. Now, an example of this, going back to everyone's houses whenever you were playing football inside the house and you broke a vase, right? You had to be responsible for breaking that vase. You were probably going to be grounded for breaking that vase. In the same way, the NSPE can ground engineers. They can say, you know what, you're no longer a professional engineer because you broke the Code of Ethics. Section 3.8 does have some caveats to it. The first one is you have to conform to the rules of where you're working. The rules in New York and California are going to be wildly different, right? So you have to be working within the New York State rules. Because if you do something in New York State that's legal, but it's illegal here, over here you're not going to be punished. But if you do something here that's illegal, but it's legal here, in this state you can be punished. And lastly, the second caveat to this rule is that an engineer may not say they weren't working as an engineer to be saved from blame for something they did. Once again, going back to the base example, let's say that the base didn't break at your house. It broke at somebody else's. And well, you cannot say, well, it happened over there, so you can't punish me. No. If you broke a vase at somebody's house, your mom and your dad were still going to say, you know what, you're grounded because you shouldn't have done that. The same thing happens here. If an engineer is found guilty of malpractice or being grossly negligent, the NSPE will not say, oh, that's okay because you did it as an architect. No. They're still going to say, why did you do that? So just one last time, as a final recap, the NSPE could be equated to somebody's parents. They're the big organization that takes care of everything. The Code of Ethics is the rules of your house, the rules of the house, something that you have to follow to keep living under their roof. And Section 3.8 basically is the rule that says you gotta be responsible for everything you do. If you break the rules, you're gonna get grounded. Thank you so much.